This is Shoaib Mohammed Nazmul Hussain Mamoon from Sonagadi and Tax and Library News channel. Now I am trying to find out important news from uh, from the Financial Express daily newspaper. Every day I collect this newspaper, English newspaper, for reading. So now I find out the important news from the Financial Express. H1 operating profit, most of the PCBS C upticked. Microsoft get VAT raise হবে in Bangladesh. The DSEX climbs 748 points in H1. Macy's contract held up. UN urged US to lift Iran sanctions. Chittagong port sees of year of record. Switzerland commits ADDL টাকা 0.9 B to BD for COVID support. Crackdown marks first day of hard lockdown. BSEC issues rules to government. টাকা 210 B fund. Warning to foreign rivals. Marks Chinese Communist Party centenary. Chittagong port sees of a year of record. FBCCI 6 until December 31 for loan rescheduling. Global cyber security index, Bangladesh moves 25 spot up. Trump company's CFO surrenders. Oman deficit at 2.5 dollar in May as oil revenue declines. Post yet to come for developing economies. BIS warns. Lockdown adds to ways of disputed day laborers. H1 operating profit, most of PCBS uptick. Widening interest rate spread helps register better earning despite increased NPL amid COVID-19. Most of the private commercial bank PCBs showed an increased operating profit in the first 6 months H1 of this calendar year 2021, despite the extent of overall classified loan in banking system was on the rising trend, bankers said. Of the 42 BCBS, the financial as a FP obtaining the provisional data of 15 PCBS that recorded increased operating and profit during the period from January to June. The data of the rest PCBS was not immediately available in the final count. The amount of profit would be a little higher or lower, said officials of different commercial banks. The unaudited operating profit, however, does not reflect the actual financial position of the bank, as they have to set aside fund uh, for provisional bad debts, any pay tax, the widening widening trend of interest rate spread has helped the banks to register more operating profit during the period under review compared with the same period of 2020. According to the senior bankers, the weighted average spread between the lending and deposit rates operated by all the scheduled banks rose to 3.26% in May 2021 from 2.94% in the same period in the same period of the last year. According to the central bank latest statistic, during the period the interest rate spread wide, wide, widened 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 as the banks cut their deposit rates much deeper than that of the lending rates. The bankers explained the weighted average interest rate on deposits fell to 4.14% in May 2021 from 5.24% in the same period of 2020. While such rate on lending came down to 7.4% from 8.18%, the Bangladesh Bank data showed. Lower cost of funds has pushed up the operating and profit of the banks during the period under review. A senior executive of a leading PCB told the Financial Express. He said that the banks which had managed non-performing loans NPLs using the Bangladesh Bank relaxed loan classification rules and booked better operating profit during the H1 of 2021. Meanwhile, the amount of classified loan increased by more than 7% to taka 950.8 and 7% to taka 950.85 billion in the first quarter of 2021 from taka 887.34 billion in the processing quarter, despite providing policy support by central bank. Upward trend in the capital market has also helped the bank to enhance their operating profit in the first 6 months of this year. The banker explained between January 1st and June 30 this year, the DASEX, the prime index of the Dhaka Stock Exchange (DAC), rose 748 points or 13.85% to settle at 6,150 on Wednesday. See the para. The banks were trying to offset the adverse impact of COVID-19 pandemic on their business through using the Bangladesh Bank refinancing and schemes against the stimulus packages along with the relaxed loan classification rules of the central bank. Another senior bankers said while replying to a query, he also said that banks may face more challenges to book similar operating profit by the end of this calendar year if the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic continues. Senator News present Siddiq Islam. Now I try to do another important news. Microsoft gets VAT raised in Bangladesh registered. Microsoft regional Microsoft regional sales and PTE Limited obtained value-added tax and VAT registration on Thursday, following the government's law to operate in Bangladesh from now on. The non-resident company will have to submit a monthly VAT return to the government. Dhaka South VAT Zone has issued the registration known as Business Identification Number (BIN) in favor of the company's Singapore office. Poddar and associate will work as a local VAT agent for the company. earlier Facebook, say Amazon and Google also obtained VAT registration from the National Board of Revenue. As per VAT and Supplementary Duty Act 2012, the government made VAT registration and submission of VAT returns mandatory from July 1st, 2019 for the non-resident companies. However, the companies were facing difficulties to comply with the law due to complex provisions that have been amended in phases to facilitate them. BSEC issued rules to government Dhaka 2010 B1. The securities regulator has finally issued a set of rules paving the way for creating a special fund to help revitalize the capital market. The much awaited rules on formation of the market stabilization fund came into effect from June 2007 last through a gazette notification. Earlier, the Bangladesh Securities and Exchange Commission (BSEC) has decided to form a Taka 210 billion worth of capital market stabilization fund in the regard. We hope operation of the fund will be started very soon, and said BSE Chairman Professor Shibli Rubayat Yuan Rubayatul Islam. Apart from supporting the market, the investor long the Professor Shibli Rubayatul Islam. Apart from supporting the market, the investor long pending claims of stock dividends and rights and share or unrefunded IPO initial public offering will be settled through operation of the fund. Under the supervision of a high-profile board of governors, direct sales and buy of listed security will be conducted the fund. Besides, the market intermediaries will be able to get loan at a nominal interest rate from the fund. Professor Sibley said the activities of forming the board of governors would start within a week. BSEC issues rules to government as a BSEC and BS6 there's one from 6. BSEAC issues rules to govern Taka 210 billion fund. The ensure debt to the market maximum 40% of the cash and the balance of the fund may be issued may be used for direct buying and selling of the listed securities. At least 50% of the cash balance of the fund shall be used for providing loan to market intermediaries for refinancing as a margin loan. The remaining 10% of the cash balance may be used for investment in another security such as fixed deposit and government security. According to the investment saving as defined by the rules, the total fund out of 210 billion will come from the undistributed or unsettled dividend and namely cash stock and rights. As per the information of the securities and securities regulator, 335 listed companies have unclaimed cash dividends worth the Taka 9.56 billion and unclaimed or unsettled stock dividends worth Taka 199.86 billion. The fund shall be operated by an organization or investment and corporation of Bangladesh ICB under the operation management and service contract with the board of government. Governor of the fund and maintaining a bank account with any scheduled bank and a consolidated securities and account or beneficiary owner BO account in the name of the capital market stabilization fund according to the rules of the market and stabilization fund will be a perpetual one for the functioning as a custodian of undistributed or unclaimed or unsettled dividend and cash or stock or unallocated rights and share or non-refunded and public and subscription money in favor of the shareholders and stockholders or investor. If any cash dividend which remain unpaid or unclaimed or unsettled or undistributed for a period none of the 3 years from the date of the declaration of approval or record date shall be transferred by the issue to the bank account of the fund within a stipulated time frame. In the same way, the unallocated or unsettled bonus share or rights share shall be transferred by the issuer in say demat dematerialized and dematerialized form to the BO account of the fund. The BSEC chairman said the fund will automatically be transferred from the listed companies to the account of the market stabilization fund. Otherwise, the companies will face legal actions as a gazetted notification has already been published on one of the rules of market stabilization fund, he said, and on completion of due security. The investor claim regarding the dividend or unrefunded IPO fund will be settled within 15 working days of the receiving of recommendation with an intimation to the concerned issuer. According to the rules, the board of government of the fund shall be comprised of 11 members, including one chairman nominated by the commission. The commission will nominated another 3 members, while this will nominated 2 members and depository and organization 1 number, and the association of listed companies 1 number. 1 number will also be included from the professional of chartered accountant, or cost and management accountant or chartered secretariats or chartered financial analysis as selected by the commission. Warning to foreign rivals. Marx and Chinese and Communist Party centenary. Beijing and Singapore X1 Jinping marked the centennial of the Chinese Communist Party's founding on Thursday with a nationalistic address in Beijing, warning any infringement on the country's sovereignty would be met by a great wall of steel. But the Chinese president, hour-long address unveiled no new initiatives or timeless for the party most important policy objectives such as reunification with Taiwan and XY and focus instead on the party's role in accomplishing the great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation. We must afford the firm leadership of the party. GI said China's success hinge on the party. China's official news agency said 70,000 people attended Thursday ceremony. Most were government and party official soldiers, employees of state-owned enterprise, and a student. The crowd was largely subdued, but roared to life when GIN said China will not tolerate and sanction and sanctimonious BSing, from those who think they have the right to lecture us. The Chinese president added that unification with Taiwan remain a historic mission and unshakable commitment of the Chinese Communist Party. The Financial Times has reported that the US and Japan have been secretly conducting joint war games amid at repel, repelling a Chinese invasion of Taiwan, which has been self-ruled since the Communist parties nationalities rivals played to the Island in 1949. The fact that there was no timeline for unification or change to historical framing and was positive and for Taiwan. The Margaret Louise, a professor at Sanction Hall Law School, who is based in Taipei, but she noted that GI has previously said Taiwan is not a problem that can be passed from generation to generation. GI is widely regarded as the country's most powerful leader in decades, and appeared on the rostrum of Tiananmen Gate, and where Mao Zedong declared the establishment of the People's Republic of China 72 years ago. The president wore a grey Mao suit and setting him apart from other senior party and cadres dressed in Western business suit and ties, shorts and ties, shorts and ties. That's echoing Mao's comments at the same spot in 1949. GI said the Communist Party victory showed that the Chinese nation had stood up at the time when the Chinese people would be deemed by others was gone forever. The party, he added, remained the backbone of the nation. GIS and his speech was the culmination of a series of celebratory events that began on Monday with a mass performance at Beijing Olympic Stadium. And his administration has routinely marked uh, patriotic anniversaries with large parades and military display, is including the 17th anniversaries of the party victory over Eton nationalist rivals and the end of the Second World War. This week, an event commemorating the party centennial and were the first since the outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic in Wuhan 18 months ago. The party has made its success in containing COVID-19 as evidence of the superiority of its political and economical systems compared with those of Western democracies, despite an criticism of its early handling of the health crisis. Second, across Beijing was tied in the run-up to the celebration. Journalists covering GIS species were forced to quarantine for 24 hours in advance and take two COVID-19 test before being bussed to Tiananmen Square at 3 a.m. Those admitted to VIP areas close to top party leaders had no undergo week-long home quarantines ahead of the event. Thursday also marked the 24th anniversary of the China's resumption of sovereignty over Hong Kong from the UK. The handover is traditionally remembered with large protest by the territory pro-democracy camp, but Hong Kong police refused to grant and protest the organized permission to gather this year. Now I take rest for few times. Thank you from Sonagaji TV and Tax and Battery News YouTube channel. Allah Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur